Good evening, folks. Good evening. And welcome to the Monday Weekend Wrap-Up. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Settle down. We've got a great show tonight. We have a new guest joining us for the first time in show history. Episode 22 is going to be a good one. Unfortunately, we had some miscommunication with one of our guests. Cultured Left Foot was not informed that the show is a 2-hour show now. We have changed things since his last appearance, but we're hoping to do a 1.5 hour show one of these days to include him as well. He is a house guest, so he's welcome on whenever he can make it. But we will get to him as soon as possible. Let's introduce our guests for the evening. Let's start off with, we have, to my upper right, we have the newest guest to the program, OfficialH2. Welcome in, H2. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm really glad to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm doing well, thank you. Just trying to survive the heat like I think the entire globe is, but really excited to be here and looking forward to this. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a warm one. It's a warm one. And also we have, as always, the legendary Milo1st. Milo, how you doing?
I'm very well. How are you all doing this evening?
Doing good. It's a warm one. Let's take a look at our topics here. We got, we're going to be talking a little Bob Lewandowski. Big move for him. We'll be talking some done deals we have going on. Transfer market. It's the season for that. Some rumors. And our big topic today is going to be technology, the rules and the future of the game. Where's it all going? What's happening? We'll also have a open panel section where chat can have their say and we can talk about whatever we feel like. And we got a couple games. And as always, the weekly check-in. We'll be chatting about that. But without any further ado, let's get into the first topic. Robert Lewandowski. He's made a... at the age of 34 years old, soon to be 34, Barcelona have completed the 45 million euro transfer of world-class striker Robert Lewandowski. He signed a 4-year deal with the Catalan side, which will see him to the age of 38. Quite a big move for him. A lot of money for a 34-year-old as well. Milo, what are your initial thoughts on this deal here?
I mean, great player, great center forward. I don't understand these clubs that are, would we say Barcelona are in a little bit of a rebuild maybe? You know what I mean? Like, and bringing in Lewandowski just doesn't really make too much sense for me long term. Like you said, his contract runs till he's 38. Tim Woods in the chat there, easy money for Bayern. I have to agree with that a little bit. It's a bit like the Suarez signing they made, but maybe not. I don't know that Lewandowski will have quite the impact that Suarez did. I'm sure he'll score goals, but I mean, 34 years old, I don't know. It seems a bit late to make that move to me, but best of luck to him. Good player.
Yeah, H2, your thoughts on that?
First of all, it's Robert Lewandowski, I guess, now, with all the levers that are being activated.
True.
I think I agree with what Milo said. I mean, it's... For him, it makes, he wants a new challenge and he's looking to show that he can still do it. But exactly what Milo said, are we getting a rebuild from Barcelona? Are they looking towards the future? What are they doing signing someone that, of course, we know has goals in him, but does he make sense for their strategy with the amount of money they're paying when they've already, sunk so much money into other signings with all the financial, we'll just say, clouds that they've been going through. So yeah, I'm interested to see what the long-term future holds. Like, I still think he has some elite level footballing left in him, but what does he fit into in terms of Barcelona's long-term plan? I'm not sure.
Yeah, so now they have Aubameyang and Lewandowski, both a little past their, slightly, I'd say past their prime. I think we could agree. To me, one of the things that pops out is probably the wages they're on now, right? They both command a lot of respect. They both have that know-how. Maybe in a rebuild squad, you want that veteran leadership up top that is going to help the rest of the team kind of, they see those guys up top and they say, if we keep working hard, maybe we'll get a goal here and there. I don't know. if there's any other similar moves to this in the past, maybe like a certain Cristiano Ronaldo going to Manchester United, maybe, or a even like when United were in a bit of a transition, we were bringing in Cavani, we were bringing in Falcao, things like that. Are there any other moves you guys can think of that kind of remind you of this type of move where it kind of worked out? Like, I know Thierry Henry went on loan from New York Red Bulls to Arsenal for a short period of time, and that was they gave a big lift. At the end of the day, it was a good marketing move and things like that as well. But yeah, any thoughts on other players who've done this that kind of pop into mind?
I mean, for me, I think Thiago Silva is one that comes to mind. I mean, it worked out really well, but I mean, that's someone who, when you look at Chelsea's profile in the past, they shied away from 30-plus signings. I mean, as soon as you hit 30, it doesn't matter if you were, Frank Lampard or Didier Drogba. I mean, he didn't stay, obviously, through that phase, but I mean, 30-year-old was like the age where it was done at Chelsea. And so when they went out and brought Thiago Silva in, I think that was an instant impact in the locker room. And I mean, Rolls-Royce defender, I would say arguably the best defender at Chelsea, other than obviously Rudiger. But guys like Chalobah and some of the younger people coming through could learn from someone like that. And I think his presence in the locker room was priceless.
Absolutely. Thiago Silva is a great example, and he's just signed a 1-year extension, I believe, as well. So
exactly.
he's still rolling.
Yep.
Yeah, I understand the Thierry Henry comparison, although I think Thierry's was more of a cameo. He wanted to keep fit, get fit, stay in shape. And so he was invited to train with the team, and then we had a need for a backup center forward, and it just happened all at the right time. And it was. I don't think marketing for Henry is ever going to be a major factor, because funnily enough, I got a message from someone today that just ordered the new shirt with Henry 14 on the back. So I think we still sell plenty of Henry shirts. I thought that was pretty good. I'm going to order it. It's the black and gold one. I'm going to get Dennis on mine.
Oh, nice.
So I'm looking forward to that. But the two players I'd use as an example, Culture says Fowler back to Liverpool there. I'm going to use two Man United players just because, for you, Cart.
Sure.
Michael Owen coming to United. It's a little bit of that in there, and maybe a little bit of Zlatan going to Man United as well.
Oh, yeah,
Similar
Zlatan.
vibes. Similar
Zlatan's
vibes to me, though.
Totally forgot about that.
Deals.
Yeah.
Zlatan's still doing so well, it didn't even occur to me, Or he did so well after United. But yeah, definitely. Yeah, interesting moves. Would you take Lewandowski at Arsenal, Milo?
I mean, not now.
Not now? Okay. $5 million a year, I believe. That's his...
Yeah, I mean, that's not what we're looking for, I don't think, in our squad. You can see the moves we're making. It's not for that veteran presence. We've done that for a few years. I think the young team, we're just looking to build on that. And I think Jesus brings in that experience of an older player anyway, with what he's achieved with City. So I don't think we need Lewandowski.
All right. H2, who do you support? Do you have an English team?
I do indeed. Yes. So I'm a Chelsea fan.
Okay, cool.
I will be the first. I was waiting for that.
No,
it's usually
good.
more than one, so I'll take Milo's and
him.
then I'll wait for chat's coughs to trickle in. But as a Chelsea fan, I think I would rip your hand off for Lewandowski. I mean, we've been crying for an outright striker for eternity. Everyone knows the number 9 curse at Chelsea, and since Drogba, of course, then there was Diego Costa, and that's basically it when you look back at strikers that have actually performed. So from my perspective, the club that I support is in desperate need of someone of that exact profile.
Yeah.
I was surprised that you didn't put up a fight for Jesus, actually.
I know. Yeah, I know. And I think that Jesus is the perfect signing for Arsenal. Like you said, I think I couldn't have said it better. He brings the experience proven in the league, and I'm so interested and intrigued, and I think he's going to do great to see him be the main guy. I mean, at City, we know how potent they are in their attacking and how explosive they are all over the pitch. But he is now going to be the guy for Arsenal, and I think it's the perfect signing for Arsenal.
Well said. Yeah. What were your thoughts when the Cristiano Ronaldo to Chelsea rumors are going around?
Honestly, that was something that was brought up a lot in during our streams and stuff. But the way I see it is this: for the first time in my life, we are supporting a manager. It sounds like Todd Bowley has come in and said to Thomas Tuchel, "I will build this team for you." Is it going to last? Who knows? I'm traumatized from years of, hoping for different. So if it's someone that Tuchel wants, 100%, I would say, that's what we need. If he can work with that in the team, then I'm fully supportive of it. I think getting Ronaldo just to get Ronaldo wouldn't make sense. Phenomenal player, goal scoring, you're going to get it. But if he doesn't fit inside Tuchel's plans and the team, I was a little hesitant, and it sounds like we're probably not going to pursue that. So,
right on. Yeah, well, I mean, I think that right about does it for Lewandowski. Let's move on to other topic here. We're talking done deals. So all different types of deals we got going on. We have obviously Lewandowski to Barcelona, which we mentioned before. We have Christian Eriksen and Lisandro Martinez to Manchester United. Rafinha to Barcelona. Let me just look at my notes here. Koulibaly to Chelsea. And also Kessie to Barcelona as well. Zinchenko's pretty much a done deal to Arsenal as well. On the topic of Koulibaly to Chelsea, H2, what are your thoughts on Koulibaly going there?
Feels like it's 6 years too late. I mean, not too late, I should say. It's just 6 years later. It was that meme that, 2 hours later, we were in negotiations with him all the time. The Napoli president, De Laurentiis, was, pretty stubborn on not letting him go. And he is 31, understood. It's a 4-year +1 contract, so there is some risk. Right. If, things don't pan out. He's been at Napoli for so long, it's going to be interesting to see how he performs in a different country, in a different league. But again, if it's anything close to how Thiago Silva did for us, and we know how good Koulibaly is still at this level, I think it's going to be a phenomenal signing, honestly. A little irritated that it might get in the way of guys like Levi Colwill developing. But, I think Koulibaly's a name that's been thrown around for a long time, and he's still doing it at the absolute top level. So very exciting signing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you wonder. Also, we'll talk about rumors in a sec, actually. Milo, thoughts on Zinchenko moving to Arsenal?
I think that's a really astute signing. I made a couple of notes on that earlier because I thought you might ask my opinion on that. I think his versatility is massive for our squad. Obviously, we know he can play left back. We know he can play, do a job in midfield. Both areas where we need depth. And something I bang the drum about for months on this show is the lack of depth at Arsenal. And I really think we're doing a job of filling some of those gaps with quality players. And we're not doing it at the expense yet of selling a bunch either. So I think we might have quite a big squad this year. And I think, I'm hopeful that it pushes us to that next level.
Absolutely. I'll just comment on Martinez and Eriksen as well. I think Lisandro Martinez is a great signing. Coming from Ajax, he has that familiarity with Ten Hag. I mean, he also has a little bit of familiarity with Eriksen as well from training with him when he was rehabbing. But Martinez will be the shortest center back one of the shortest center backs in the Premier League. I think 5'9". I think I don't know how many centimeters. But apparently he's a very aggressive. Controlled aggression is what Ten Hag says, which will be very nice. And Ten Hag said that after studying United the past season, that he noticed that our left side of our defense was a weak side, and that is Harry Maguire's side, interestingly enough. So we'll see what Harry Maguire's playing time, what happens to his playing time with Martinez in the squad. Some people think that he'll fit in with a nice back three, or he could even pop into midfield. But in the past, Ten Hag spoke about Daley Blind, and he spoke about how he doesn't have the physique to play in midfield, or he said something along those lines. And he also mentioned Lisandro Martinez doesn't have that either. Maybe that's changed or not, I don't know. But I think Martinez will be a great addition. And like Milo was saying, we need a little bit of depth. He's the perfect amount of depth. And we'll see what happens. I'm curious to see what outgoing moves happen at United now because of Martinez's arrival. And on the subject of Eriksen, I think that's a really nice move. I believe he's 30. He signed a 3-year deal, I think a 3-year deal. And Ten Hag has said he can play in the 10, and he can also play in the kind of the 8, a little deeper if he needs to. I think against teams that park the bus against us, because now we're playing this very high fullbacks, Pep Guardiola almost, and we're gonna need those attacking midfielders in the squad, But and I just want to comment on Koulibaly. I think Koulibaly will be very interesting. how does he compare to Rudiger in your mind? What if you contrast them?
Really good question. So obviously we're looking for that void, to fill that void in leadership. There was no doubt that Rudiger was a team leader, like a huge presence in the locker room. I think Koulibaly is the same level of controlled aggression in a way, without the antics, without the going over the top, which as a fan, sometimes, you love it when they're on your team, you hate it when you play against them, but sometimes it was a little much. And I love Rudiger, and I'm so thankful for his time at Chelsea, of course, but you always wonder, when is he going to lose the line, when is he going to go over? And with someone like Koulibaly, I mean, not saying it can't happen, but I'm a little more hopeful that it'll be a little more controlled, but the same sort of like absolute physical presence and leadership that Rudiger's departure has left.
Okay, yeah. And Rafinha and Kessie to Barca. Obviously, I mean, maybe you have a little more insight than the rest of us on, or either of you have more insight on the situation with Barcelona and how they're gonna sign these players. But Rafinha and Kessie, I don't think they've been registered yet. I think Kessie might have been. I don't think Rafinha has yet. He hasn't played in the preseason, I don't believe. But I think that those are great moves. It feels like Kessie's like a De Jong replacement. And we'll get to rumors in a bit here, but what do you think about
Barca with those signings? I think they'll compete for La Liga. I can't see them making waves in the Champions League, but I think La Liga they could put up a good fight with that squad.
Yeah, it's solid.
Yeah, I would agree. I think, I mean, Rafinha is someone that obviously we were linked with as at Chelsea, so it was, someone that I was very excited about if he did end up coming. Really good, really direct player. It'll be interesting to see who actually plays, because they've re-signed Dembele as well. They still have Ferran Torres, if I'm not mistaken. So, it'll be interesting to see how all the pieces fit, but really good signings, both of them so far.
Absolutely. Let's see, what other signings do we have? Let's see. Chelsea signed Raheem Sterling. We can get your thoughts on that, H2. I'm not the biggest Raheem Sterling fan. I feel like
you're not alone there.
Okay, yeah, I feel like he's slightly overhyped. Maybe the England tag follows him as well with that. England number 10 and things like this. He had some great performances, but I think it's a little overhyped. What are your feelings on Sterling joining your squad?
Here's the thing with me, like, I fully agree with that sentiment. Watching him sometimes is really frustrating, like on the international level, as well as, we know that his finishing is frustrating to watch at times. He can be a little selfish. Here's the thing. I'm interested to see what he's going to do. Until he shows me what he's going to do at Chelsea, I'm going to stay optimistic. That's just the kind of supporter I am. Anyone that comes into the club, until there's a reason not to, I will be cautiously optimistic about. In terms of the type of player we're getting, I'm not sure if that's exactly what we needed. Yes, he has the ability to take people on and change games. Is he going to be able to single-handedly drag us across the line in terms of us actually finishing our chances or creating chances that we've struggled to at times? I'm not sure. But to sum it up, a frustrating player to watch in the past, maybe overhyped, but holding my reservations until I see what he actually does in the system. That's basically what I would say.
Gotcha. And Milo, are you glad you didn't get Sterling, or would you have been happy with Sterling?
Mate, I am so happy we didn't get him. I've ranted about Raheem Sterling on the show before, and I admire your optimism, H2, but I gotta say, I don't see him giving you anything. You're not going to see anything from Raheem that he hasn't already shown, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think he's going to blossom into some clinical
game-changing forward.
Yeah, like he's not going to be the complete package all of a sudden. But if you look at his stats, and we did talk about this on my Discord a few weeks ago, a Liverpool fan, Soccer2, I'm not sure if he's in the chat, but he was talking about it, comparing with Mane, and their stats are very similar. I just wonder if Raheem benefited statistically from being in that Man City team, and I suspect that he did. And I think that you're going to get frustrated with him. Will he do some good things? Yes, he will. He will create chances. His pace is such a weapon. Theo Walcott used his pace to, for the best parts of his career were using his pace. So, it's the same kind of thing. I don't like him in an England shirt either, but he has done a job. It's hard to argue with, but I can tell you this: anytime I'm with a group of England fans watching England play, we're all like, oh my God, Raheem, you know, like it's just, and at least once or twice a game we're just baffled by his decision-making process in the final third, but he is capable of some good things too. So
to piggyback off that, because you made a really good point about him possibly benefiting from being in a team like Manchester City. I saw a video online, I think it was from the Tifo channel, I can't remember exactly where, but they were basically breaking down, you know, his career and what Chelsea can expect. And there's an argument in there that gives me hope, which is basically, yes, he was benefiting from a lot of, you know, easier chances created around him, but he was still ending up in somewhat decent positions. We know the finishing was atrocious at times, but he was ending up in those positions. And I think we just haven't had someone to attack the ball. Like Kai Havertz playing as a striker, I don't think he's a true striker. That's a subject for a different day. But we need someone who gets into those positions. Will he finish those chances? Probably not. We all know, like you just said, from watching him for England and watching him in the past, he probably won't be as clinical as we Chelsea fans expect. But if he can end up in those positions, that's something we've been missing, someone to attack those dangerous balls. So we'll see. To be determined, absolutely, I guess, is the verdict.
For me, he's your new Eden Hazard, but you know, mid career already.
Yeah, agree.
Do you think he can in a back three system? Do you think he can play as a wing back? No.
I've not seen anything that really suggests he'd be a defensive unit, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that part of his game would be a massive weakness, but I don't know about you guys.
I think the running would be there, but how complete would the package be? I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Right. This is great. I didn't know you were a Chelsea fan. This is awesome.
I was going to say, there was a comment from Walid in chat. He was like, you saw the sense in bringing a Chelsea fan in, and I said, to be fair to Cart, he didn't know I was a Chelsea fan until I said it on here. So
I didn't know. This is
the most exciting day Walid's had in a long time.
he's the lone Chelsea fan in chat. I'm here for you, Walid.
Does Callum Hudson-Odoi, does he play that wingback position or no? Does he?
He has. He actually went through a pretty bad injury. He I guess there was some stuff going on with his nerves. He hurt his Achilles, and then there was something with his nervous, like the nerves weren't firing properly. Lost a bunch of power in his legs, so he missed pretty much the entirety of last season, the second half of it. But yes, we are wingback FC as a joke. I mean, Christian Pulisic has played there, Ziyech has played there, all sorts of people have played in the wingback role. So there's no one really that is a pure wingback other than maybe Reece and Chilwell on our team right now. So even if we were going to get Rafinha, that was the meme that he would possibly be a wingback. So I just hope that Sterling is not a wingback and we can actually just maybe move to a back four and go from there.
Absolutely. Well, on the subject, you mentioned Reece James and Chilwell being your only wingbacks. Let's move into the rumors section here. A lot of rumors floating around. I got Dybala to Roma. I believe that might be confirmed now. There was talk of Bernardo Silva going to Barca, maybe Neymar going to City. I believe that's been squashed. Koundé to Chelsea or Barca as well. Obviously, Frankie to United, my favorite one. You know. On the subject of wingbacks, are there any? I haven't heard too many. Maybe Serginho Dest is the only one I've really heard rumored to go into Chelsea. Have you heard any other ones or anything? Haven't heard much.
Heard nothing. We had we have a left back who was on loan at Coventry last season, Jan Matson, a young Dutch guy, and I was hoping he would be kind of some backup on the left because we have Alonso and maybe Emerson there, but who knows about both of those. And he ended up going on loan to Burnley. Really good announcement video from Burnley, by the way, if you guys haven't checked it out. Really funny video. But yeah, no, nothing. Dead silence.
Okay, yeah. Milo, just on the subject of Arsenal, any rumors you're hearing about at Arsenal?
I've got 3 great little rumors.
Okay, go for it.
Not all Arsenal related, but Sane to Arsenal is one that's been brought up this week. It appears we are still in the market for a winger. I would hope that means we're still trying to ship out Pepe. Maybe we're trying to do a part exchange deal, and that's putting teams off because no one wants Pepe after the somewhat disappointing stint he's had with us. But I don't know how valid that one is. We're still heavily linked with Paqueta as well, which I find really interesting. I don't think we need him. But again, if we had more depth in those creative positions, it's something I was crying out for last year, so it'd be hard to be disappointed. Off Arsenal topic, I love this rumor. Harry Kane to Bayern to replace Lewandowski. Please take him. Let's get rid of him.
That would fit Bayern's philosophy, probably. I don't know.
And then CR7 to Atletico today.
I saw
I
that.
saw that as well. Pepe actually lined up at striker for you guys in preseason. I don't know if you saw that.
For a half. It's funny because about 3 days before that, I can't remember if it was on here or in the Discord, I was saying to somebody that I would give him a try maybe at centre forward. Just have him play off the shoulder, maybe in a two up top situation, like just getting behind. He's got pace, he's got skill. It's just it's almost like putting him out in the wing in the Premier League. It's just not working for him, you know. His move is to cut in on the left foot like Arjen Robben, but less clinically. And if a left back just shuts that down, which most left backs will, he's ineffective. So you've got to find a way. I find it odd that managers don't try players. I mean, they do try players in different positions, but not enough, you know. Like sometimes a marquee player or a marquee signing, like why not experiment a bit?
Yeah, and Arsenal does tend to give free roaming positioning to their strikers as well, so he could easily just kind of fall out to the wing and receive the ball there as well. Other rumors, Koundé, Jules Koundé, also earlier speaking of Lisandro Martinez, Koundé must be 5'10", 5'11" max as well. In a back three, seems like he'd be a great addition to Chelsea. There's rumors of him going to Chelsea. Also, Barcelona on alert for him as well. Have you guys heard anything about Koundé H2 and how would he fit in at Chelsea?
So here's the thing: we were linked with either Ake. I think it was a combination of Nathan Ake from Manchester City, who of course used to play at Chelsea, and Koulibaly. Those were the two first names. And I felt like Chelsea were going to overpay for Ake. Great utility player. I think he still can get a job done. Obviously, he is a good center back / left back. But the amount that Manchester City were, expecting for that, I was a little uneasy with. Koundé is a name that we've been linked with for a long time. I think by now it's reached a point where I don't even know if he's a good fit for Chelsea or not anymore. I don't know what we're trying to do at Chelsea. I don't know if we're still going to play with the three at the back, the three center backs, or if we're going to go with a 4-3-3 or something like that. So I'm all for bringing in Koulibaly and maybe giving some time to, like I said, Levi Colwill, who I think is a great young prospect at Chelsea, versus potentially, sacrificing him to bring in someone like Koundé. But it's going to be interesting to see where he ends up. The Barcelona rumors have really heated up with Koundé, so I'm not sure what's going to happen there, to be honest.
Absolutely. Milo, any rumors on outgoings from Arsenal? Any players you guys are planning on dealing? Saliba, maybe? I don't know.
No, because as far as I'm aware, Saliba is staying. That's the plan, and it's going to be, Saliba, Gabriel, Ben White, and Holding as the stream backup.
That's pretty solid.
Backup to the backup. I think it's a solid core. I think you've got to have 4 good centre backs. Again, it would give us the depth. I'm going to keep hammering that depth word because I complained about it so many times last season. It's needed. So I think we need to keep all 4 of them. And I hope Saliba has a breakout in the Prem. It's a different kettle of fish. We all know that, right? To the French league, but
right.
I hope to see good things from him as well.
Absolutely. I'll just comment on Frankie to United. Today, Ten Hag actually spoke about. He did a small interview today, speaking about the pursuit of players and squad depth and things like that. And obviously, I think we most fans think understand that Frankie would be a great addition to the team. But I like how he said that if we can't get him, we'll develop a player to play that position. There's a young kid, Zidane Iqbal, playing at United, and he's looked really comfortable in that position. Really good on the ball, smooth, silky. Before he was there, you'd be wondering what's going on. But when you see Scott McTominay trying to play in that 8 role, you feel a little uneasy. You feel a little uneasy. So, if he could develop Zidane into a player like that, and who doesn't love saying Zidane as well, in midfield. That would be great, but I think Eriksen might fall into that role as well. Maybe McTominay is backup for Fred in that maybe that deep-lying destroyer kind of role. But yeah, I'm not too worried whether it happens or doesn't happen. September 1st, that'll be a whole month into the season. At this point is the deadline. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, I think I'm at the point where it's been so back and forth. The player seems like he doesn't want to go. I'm more than happy to let him stay at Barcelona. I understand that Barcelona is, the highest, it's the pinnacle of football for a lot of footballers, and to rip him away from that, I feel like would be a little rough. And even if it is to my team, I'm not into that. Anyways, but yeah. Frankie de Jong. Frankie de Jong was rumored to be going to Chelsea as well. There was talk of him possibly going to Chelsea.
Very briefly, I feel like, but
briefly,
yes, I remember his name has been definitely a name that's been thrown around a lot lately with at least United and Chelsea. I'm surprised actually, not to jump off that, but Chelsea is not really looking to. I mean, we have Gallagher coming back, but I mean, there's no one really that is in the plans to replace Jorginho and Conte inevitably. But I want to ask you something, Cart. I'm not sure how you are with like tangents, but when you mentioned Zidane Iqbal, we were actually talking about this the other night, and I thought it was a really good kind of a thing. What do you feel, being a United fan, about like some of the pressure on these kids coming through the United Academy? Zidane Iqbal is being, he's being noticed, and do you feel like that's good for his development? Like, he's still fairly young, but to be almost, thrown into the equation of maybe is he ready to jump into the team? How do you think about that? Because United is a huge club that has a lot of pressure for their youngsters, I would say.
Absolutely. No, love the tangent. I do think it's quite a bit. It is preseason where he's playing a half. It's a new the fact that it's a new system could be like it could be a big opportunity for him in that sense, right? The talk of him being the next big thing he could actually get a chance, but we've seen it so many times. Adnan Januzaj. There's many examples of where we overplay these youngsters, even Rashford to some extent, and we put expectations a little too high on him. I do think that he has a calmness about him where he could, come on and play, and I feel like he could be, if we're down to between McTominay and him, bringing him on for the last 30 minutes a game after McTominay runs the socks off could be an option for him. I don't think he's the man, that type of thing. I don't think we should be giving him that type of praise. I think in the Premier League he needs to develop physically as well. So that's something McTominay had from a younger age, so I don't know if it's great for his development, and also there's all this media talk about him being the first Middle Eastern slightly minority, all this stuff. When you add all that PR stuff to the equation, it can get a little sticky and dicey. So that stuff does make me a little uneasy, though. Myself being a minority, I'm pretty hyped for him being included in the squad. So I don't see him. I see him getting a clear chance, but I don't think he's going to be like looked to as the man. Hopefully not. I hope. Yeah. So to answer your question, I hope not. I hope he's not looked at as the man.
Makes sense.
Yeah, he's great. It's fun to see youngsters come through for sure. I feel like at Arsenal he'd be in the first team. I don't know. I know. Just kidding. Yeah, he's great though. But yeah, well, only a couple halves of play so far, so it's fun to see, but trying to keep it calm. We had big hopes for Tahith Chong as well, and guys like
Tahith
that.
Chong,
Tahith, I don't think he's got it. Maybe he does. I don't know. I'd love for him to prove me wrong. But
Hannibal.
We'll see. Hannibal as well. Yeah, Hannibal. We threw him in the equation as well. But yeah. Let's take a look at chat here. I'll catch up with chat. Waleed, thank you for the Prime sub. Appreciate it. Man United will only be as good as they want to be. You could have Ten Hag, whoever, but if they don't buy, it doesn't matter who they have as manager. Good point, Don. Good point. Hi, my name is Zidane. I should be great. Exactly. Any other rumors you guys want to come? Bernardo Silva to Barca. I'll just kind of review the chat here. Milo, could you see Bernardo moving away from City? I feel like that would leave a hole at City. I
could see it. And I think again another player that would do pretty well in for Barca right now. But mean, he hasn't got anything left to prove at City, so it's either stay and be however much of a part Pep lets you be, or go somewhere and maybe fight for that first team spot. But
Tapsoba.
Yeah,
sorry. Okay,
I was gonna say about Bernardo Silva, like where does he fit? Like, I know obviously he's phenomenal a phenomenal player, but what is the transfer strategy for Barcelona? Like, what are they trying to put together? That's what I'm a little confused by. As soon as they re-signed Dembele, it kind of got a little confusing because it was like, what? Like, they have Ferran Torres, they have Dembele, they've signed Rafinha, and then I know Bernardo Silva would be a little more central, but like, what is the actual plan? That's where I'm a little lost.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on at Barca. I think a lot of people are confused. There's talk of the third lever being pulled today as well. It's so like, I don't know if the right term is, loopholes in the bureaucracy or something. Like, there's so much that the average Joe doesn't know about what happens in Moneyland that it's a bit, I don't know. It's a lot. It's very overwhelming. It's very overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I don't claim to say, like, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I don't claim to say, like, I know exactly what's going on at Barcelona. I have no idea. All I know is what we're told. But what we have been told is, players like PK, or the fact that they had to trim the wages significantly to cap. So when that stuff starts to leak through, it makes you wonder how players are so comfortable going there on these contracts. But I mean, at the end of the day, like you said, it's just overwhelming because no one really knows what the heck is going on over there.
Just reading through chat as well. Bayern CEO has denied the Kane rumor, so that's a bummer for you, Milo.
The Sane rumor, right? He's talking about the Sane rumor?
I think he's talking about Kane, the Kane rumors.
Oh, was he?
I don't know about the Sane rumors yet.
Okay.
Tapsoba. There was word of Tapsoba going to Chelsea, or was it? I can't remember where it was. The Leverkusen center back.
Kimpembe as well, right?
Kimpembe to Chelsea.
Yeah. So I think what I read today was that he's told PSG he doesn't really want. I mean, he's been there since he was 8 years old, so he's not going to ever force a move, right? But that was a name that was thrown out, but I think it's looking less likely after what I read today. But who knows?
The other one was if Ake moved to Chelsea was Gvardiol from Leipzig to Man City. And he's apparently, like, someone in chat was telling me yesterday, 80 million or something. He's highly rated center back. I think Croatian or
Croatian, I believe. Yeah.
It would be
very young as well.
Any other rumors you guys want to touch on?
I don't have any others wrote down. I mean, I noted those ones down. Rumors are always fun. I know at one point this week I was like, enough with the rumors. Like, just show me them in a shirt. Like we're getting close to the season. I'm ready for. I want the team to start gelling, and if I was you in the Frankie De Jong situation, it's got to be frustrating. I've been there many times when Arsenal have traditionally waited to the very end of the summer transfer window. And it's bloody frustrating. Let's just get it done. Get them in the team. Let's start gelling and be ready for week 1 in the Premier League because we know how important it is.
The number of times I've read the words monitoring, preparing a bid, thinking about, considering, exactly. I couldn't agree more with what Milo just said. I'm traumatized by those words.
Cash just asked me, Paqueta to Arsenal or Tielemans. Out of those two right now, I think we could do with Tielemans more than we could do with Paqueta, considering the creative players we have. And I really don't want Emil Smith-Rowe to become a forgotten man here. Like, he came back from injury last season and struggled a little bit, but the season before he had half a season where he looked fantastic. And I'm hoping that with a full pre-season under his belt, he can also pop back up in everyone's memory and be like, oh yeah, he's really good too.
Absolutely. Just playing alongside the potentially the greatest striker ever can be chalk, especially when you've been there longer than Ronaldo. But Maguire has more experience in the system of United. Yeah, what happens with Maguire will be very interesting to see how they handle him. It'll be a really interesting. The sad thing is the first thing that pops into mind is the media surrounding him, right? He already gets a lot of stick from fans around the country. Add to that, he's England captain, or not England captain, but United captain, and also, you know, starting for England. You wonder how Ten Hag is going to handle this, you know, this big kind of, I wouldn't say his ego's big, but just kind of this big situation. Yeah, how is he going to navigate it, but still, you know, play the football he wants to play? Because from the preseason games I've seen so far, Maguire does not fit that, you know, that fast on the ground ball playing center back that Ten Hag's looking for. But you know, we'll see. We'll have to see about that.
Almost like a cloud surrounding him.
Exactly.
I think what Ten Hag needs to learn, though, about English football is there are games where you need that lump.
True.
Do you know what I mean? Like you can't have that mobile, technical defense in every game. It just, sure, in the European games it'll probably work more so, but there are going to be games in the Premier League where you want a massive headed lump
Dan Burn.
in front of the goal.
Dan Burn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see how he develops under Ten Hag. I think he's like 28, 29. No, probably 20. I think he's 28, Maguire. So it'll be interesting to see how players develop under him as well. I mean, McTominay's one, you know, he was getting a bit of stick in, you know, there was some training videos of him having trouble with his first touch and passing to the wrong foot of his teammate and stuff like that. And but you can see in the system that he knows exactly what he has to do. So it'll be interesting to see how the system, how players adapt to this new system. Absolutely. Recent rumor: Van de Beek swap for Benacer. That'd be interesting. All right, yeah. Well, I think we've covered enough rumors for the day. Let's move on to our kind of our big talking point. Oops, hold on. Let me fix this. Yeah. So we're gonna talk about a technology, rules, in the future. It's kind of our talking point of the show. I got a little spiel here. I'll read. FIFA historians believe the earliest resemblance to the game, which we now call football, has been around since the time of the Han Dynasty in 2006 BC. As a military exercise, Chinese soldiers played a game called Suchu, also known as Kuju, which translates to kicking the ball. Kuju is also played by other countries such as Vietnam, Korea, and Japan. It was basically a leather ball filled with feathers, and it was kicked into a net. Teams consisted of 12 to 16 players, and they wore shoes that resembled cleats with spikes or some sort of spike thing on the bottom. Yeah, and this was in 206 BC. But, you know, that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with an old sport here, you know? Maybe that's a stretch. Okay, anyways, now on to what we're here for, the evolution of the game. In mid-19th century, around 1863, in England, the first football rules called the Cambridge Rules were recognized. At this time, there was no crossbar. If the ball crossed the sideline, the player who got to the ball first, his team, got possession of the ball. You could throw in the ball with one hand. Referees were introduced in 1871. Before that, the captains of each team would monitor the rules and the play. They'd call the fouls. In 1879, the whistle was introduced to the game. And it took all the way till 1909 for the goalkeeper to wear a different color shirt even. And then 3 years after that, the goalkeeper was only allowed to touch the ball with his hands. Basically what I'm getting at here is the game has changed over the years. You know, it has. Penalty shots were introduced in 1891. That's 30 years after the game was created. You could start scoring from corner kicks in 1924. You couldn't do that before. I believe that was after a World Cup match. The Olympico, like the goal Olympico, you know, that's the famous one. And it took till 1970 or when the first penalty shootouts were introduced as well. So penalty shootouts, quite recent as well. Just quickly, I got a couple notes on the offside rule as well. You know, before we talk about the future, 1863, a player was considered offside unless 3 players of the opposing team are on the other side of him. So instead of just 1 player, now it used to be 3 players. And then in 1925, because of the low-scoring games, they changed it to 2. And oh no, including the goalkeeper. So it would have been 2 players ahead of you. Anyways. And then 1990, it was onside if he's level with the second to last player. Also, we'll talk about the future here in a second. Back passes, obviously, 1992. Yellow cards were introduced in 1966, I believe. That was the first one. Basically, what I'm saying is a lot of changes has happened in football over the years, and now we are heading into a new kind of phase where videos are everywhere. You know, the media is all over the place. We can see the replays everywhere. Now VAR has been introduced, goal line technology. Now offside is being used more and more. FIFA just announced that for the World Cup, they'll be doing a semi-automated offside rule where three-dimensional models will be used, and the ball has a little sensor inside of it and all that good stuff. But looking to the future, and maybe we can talk a little bit about the effects of these rules as well. I know it's a lot to talk about. Let's just have a kind of a big discussion about technology, the rule book, and how you see the football in the future. Milo, you wanna start off with some of the technological, what your feelings are on the technology and all this stuff?
Sure. I mean,
yeah.
So going back as far as you did, obviously, I think a lot of items on that list for me were developmental things for the game. So, you know, like if I made a game right now on my desktop, I would start playing it, and then, you know, I know you're gonna love this because you're gonna see how could we improve it, how can we make it more exciting. These are all the things that cartwheelchamp loves to bring up when we talk about changing the game or rule changes and stuff, right? And I have to agree to a point with you. I do. However, I think the reason that those changes have slowed down a lot is because it gets to a point where, okay, this is the game. This is kind of, you know, this is what we want football to be, and it kind of stopped. That growth, that change kind of stopped with little tweaks here and there. Then now with technology being the way it is, you know, we saw people screamed for VAR, screamed for it, and when it arrived, then everybody hated it. And now I think it's a real 50-50. I've got friends that hate it and friends that love it. I think it's a necessary part of the game. It just needs to be more consistent. I think we could probably all agree on that. It still adds an element of, you know, will it count? All that stuff. Like, I'm not sure I like the way it's implemented, but I do think you need to be able to stamp out some of those mistakes. What boggles my mind is there are times when they don't use it when they should, or there are times where, like, you know, have another look at that, even if it's in the background and the play carries on. If you think a guy did something nefarious and punched a guy in the head, you should be able to go to VAR, see that happen, tell the referee he's off. It should be another ref making that decision, saying you got to send him off. He just stamped on someone off the ball. So I'd like to see, you know, VAR I think was useful. It had to be done in some way. It's just implementation of it needs tweaking. And I think those are the tweaks from this point out we'll see, rather than massive rule changes.
Okay.
You know, going to 4 quarters instead of 2 halves or something like that, you know.
Right.
Like I've heard that mentioned so many times, and people will literally vomit in front of you if you say that in England. I'm not lying.
On the subject of technology, H2, what are your feelings on use of tech, possible use of tech? What are you thinking?
Honestly, like, I think I agree with everything basically that Milo said. I think, you know, fundamentally, this is the game we all love. This is the game we fell in love with. This is, you know, this is football. And so to change things just to change them doesn't make sense. Now, ideally, technology is going to streamline things, make things easier, cleaner, smoother. Has it done that yet? Arguably not for me. Like Milo said, half the time I don't know whether I'm celebrating a goal or not yet. I just sit there and wait and wonder, oh no, this, that, are they gonna, you know, there's no consistency. So I'm all for technology making things easier, but easier is such a subjective word. And that's where it gets tricky, is we're not at a stage where we're fully automating technology in football. So there's always going to be that human element in there. And so I would argue that it's almost, if not implemented correctly, it almost makes it worse, because it's like you can see the same thing, but two people can have such a different opinion on it because we don't know what the rule is going to be. We don't know how it's going to be implemented or enforced. So I definitely think that the idea of technology is good if implemented properly, and if it genuinely, streamlines things and makes it a lot clearer for everyone involved.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'll push back. I'll push back a little bit on, So the idea of technology, the thing is, yeah, okay, I agree with the idea that two people can look at the same incident and come to different conclusions, and that's a bigger problem, I think, in general. I think that's a bigger problem in general. Whether VAR. I was thinking about this earlier this week, and I think VAR is. I think if you took the same amount of people before VAR was implemented, there was a lot of people saying it should not be implemented, right? I think, looking back, I don't think there's anyone that would be against VAR. I really don't. When you really think about how many missed calls we don't talk about, I don't think we realize how many missed calls we don't talk about. When we have all this technology for replays. Now, consistency in refereeing is different, but things like small offsides and small, there's a lot of little things that I think we take for granted now that VAR is here, that it takes care of, that we would make a big deal out of in the past. So I have a feeling, that's just a feeling I have, that I think a lot of people, I think the demand for VAR would only become amplified. It'd become more intense as time goes on, as we have all these different camera angles. Maybe offside technology could be separated. I don't know, something like that. But yeah, I do find it interesting. And so in the future, they're thinking of adding. Let's just stay on the topic of tech. In the future, for example, this winter in the World Cup, we're going to have a semi-automated, automated offside system where they do 3D rendering of all the players. They've used it in the past, I believe, in the Club World Cup. They used this technology as well. And successfully. So they're going to implement it in Qatar. So that'll be fun to see. And the idea is that on the big video screen in the stadium, fans will be able to see it. There'll be more transparency there as well. In the future, I mean, is there a fear of fully automated refereeing system? Is that a fear, or do you like having a ref that has a bit of influence on the game, that can kind of read what's going on in the game? Like, for example, a derby match, like a Spurs Arsenal match or something. Milo, what are your thoughts? Do you think the game is going to lose something from that?
Yeah, no, in my opinion, it can't go fully automated for the very reason that how traditional I like the game. The referee and the two linesmen linespersons are, I suppose, they're a part of the game as well. So to take out that human element from refereeing would be a massive mistake, in my opinion, because the referee has the ability to really set the tone for a game. If it's black and white, cut and dry with a robot, then you're not going to get that anymore. I think you need that personality that can get in between a Vieira and a Keane and say, shut up, sort your teams out, back away, let's go again, I'm not going to book anyone. You know what I mean? Just at the start of a high tempo clash or something. That's where it really is. That human element is super important, I think, and I think it'd be a massive mistake to try and go away from that. I sure have AI technology help out, same way VAR does. I just think, and I know I complain about the things that VAR miss or that we don't look at on VAR, but I do equate this kind of technology the same as my cell phone. It's an amazing piece of kit. Does it do everything? No. Is technology improving? Is my phone going to get better next year? Yes. So I kind of look at it that way. So, trying to be a bit more half full about it. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on it.
How many times have we heard the ref hasn't taken control, and that's why it's gotten out of hand? Like exactly like you said, sometimes you just need someone to assert control into a match. You look at those rugby video, speaking with so much respect to the referees, of course, but there is some being able to connect with
Hold on 1 second, HD. You're breaking up just a
and-
tad. You're
yeah.
breaking up just a tad.
Is it better now?
Just give it a sec. Yeah, maybe just kind of refresh that there. Go ahead.
Better now?
Yeah,
Alright.
it should be good right now.
All right. Yeah. Basically, I'm saying I agree with that. That we need a human element, basically, where you need to assert your control over a game. The thing with technology is that it's perfect if we grow with the technology. Technology by itself isn't the answer. There needs to be, the people that are using that technology also need to adapt accordingly, I think. And that's where I think it's easy to fall into the trap of VAR will solve everything. We'll just let VAR do the job. And it's like that we as people, I think the human element has to catch up to the technology. So I'm all for it if done properly, but fully automated, I don't agree with. I don't think so.
Yeah, interesting. Another point I kind of think about sometimes is if you add VAR to the highest level of football, the trickle down effect on second divisions and here in university football and youth football, the level of refereeing will slowly decrease because the referees have no, of the referees that want to be World Cup refs won't have that pinnacle to reach. You kind of the refereeing pyramid, if you will. There's a bit of that will be lost. So it could eventually affect grassroots level refereeing to some extent as well, which is something that crosses the mind every now and then. Let's move on to we can touch this more. I see a lot of good points in chat. We can probably touch those. Maybe loop around in the open panel section. But let's move to the rule book. Like I know my little history spiel was highlighting how the rules have changed. Now, right, just one player between you and the goalkeeper for offside, yellow card, red card. There's ideas of sin bins were introduced at grassroots level. Dissent with the referee. You can go out for 10 minutes, I believe, in the lower leagues of England. They were talking about this. Are there any rules you would like to see changed? And are there any rules that are being spoken about being changed that you don't want them to be touched? H2, why don't you start this one off?
I think for me, like I enjoy, this is the game. Like I said, this is the sport that I fell in love with. Even the away goal rule, I'm not sure how I feel about it. It took me a while to even get used to the fact that you play the match in a completely different context, because that doesn't matter anymore. So I think I'm just someone who doesn't react very well to massive changes when I fell in love with something for what it was. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's hard for me to really pinpoint any specific rule changes. The only thing that I would say is maybe, and again, this is a huge a controversial opinion too, but just with the World Cup coming up, the fixture congestion, the way that the number of matches played is so much, possibly just allowing teams to make more substitutions, look after player health just a little more, would be the only thing that I think I would be standing for. But other than that, I'm pretty vanilla, like leave it as is kind of thing.
Yeah, Milo, your thoughts?
Yeah, so I was just laughing at something me and Culture were getting into in the chat there. I was trying to engage with them,
Absolutely, go. We can speak to them as well.
For me, the biggest one is this handball situation. I think it needs to be fixed. I think it's got out of hand now. I think much like we like ice hockey, we play a bit of ice hockey. If there's a disallowed goal for kicking the puck into the net, right, and the criteria is a distinct kicking motion. Mm-hmm. So for me, I think handball, especially when it comes to penalties, it really needs to be a clear arm or hand to ball movement in order for me to want to give it. And I hate that's really softened up over the last few years, and I couldn't disagree with it more strongly, because if the ball cannons off your arm and there's not much you can do about it, we can all pretty much tell using VAR if you were handling the ball or if the ball just hit you in the hand. Do you know what I mean? Like, there are going to be times where it's right on that line and we won't know, but it's in the heat of the moment, in that split second, it's you either move to stop it or you don't. You know what I mean? And so that one I'd love to see changed. And I'd also preferred the days where the striker got the benefit of the doubt. So if it's a fingertip or a toenail, I want the striker to have the benefit of the doubt there, because you're going to see more attacking play. That's the entertaining part of it. Stopping it because someone's big toe was just a fraction at a certain angle in front of the defender. That just drives me nuts, that stuff. That's not what I would have bought VAR in to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that isn't the job I would have bought it in to do. But
yeah,
I guess sorry.
On the subject of handball, you mentioned, the Premier League kind of flip-flopped. Like 1 year they had it. I think they've changed the rule back 3 times back to back. They changed it from, accidental handling of the ball, and then accidental handling of the ball leading to a goal. So I don't think they've even come up with a proper solution to this problem yet, which makes things interesting. I remember there was one Chelsea United game. I think it was during quarantine. I think it was either Luke Shaw or Raheem Sterling or somebody handled the ball and it wasn't deemed a penalty, but under the new rules of this last season, it would have been deemed a penalty. Any thoughts on not that incident specifically, H2, but other things around that?
I'll admit, when you said rule changes, in my head I was like, I'm fine with everything. But then you start to realize the way we've gotten away from how it used to be. Like Milo said, the benefit of the doubt with the striker. I agree. How many offside wrists or shirts have we seen? So completely agree there. With the handball thing, here's the thing. There's no clarity, like you said, and like Milo said, common sense. It's easy to know if someone is trying to obstruct the ball with their hand or not. It's pretty simple to see that. So I think consistency is key. Like you said, Cart, there over the last whatever seasons, there's been so many changes that even I think the FA doesn't necessarily know what a true handball is. Subsection C, 0.1, 0.5, no, it's clear. Either you moved your hand to the ball or you didn't. That's it. So yeah, I'm fully supportive of kind of refining what a handball is to all of us who have played, even with our friends or whatever. We know, hey, that's handball. We don't sit there and scream at them if we smash the ball into their body and their arm was up like this and it smacked it. So right. I agree with that completely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before you transition to open panel, I had one more technology related thing,
absolutely.
which I noted down. I was coming at this from a different angle and I wanted to get your feedback, Car, and UH2 and chat as well. Let me know what you think. I was thinking, do you know what I am interested in technology-wise in football is stuff for the viewers. Okay, so for me and you sitting at home, and a big one for me is VR. So I do a bit of VR sim racing. I like flight sims in VR. I want to be able to, and there have been games that you can go and watch. I've not managed to catch one yet in VR when it's on to see exactly what it's like. But I'd love it if you could get down there on the pitch and be moving around in a free cam kind of way. Stuff like that. I wonder what you guys think about that. Maybe even be the ball. Maybe the ball has a camera in it, and you can you can be the ball. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be pretty amazing. I want to say back in 2006 or 7 or 8 or something. There was rumor about this, or maybe I can't remember actually. It was you could get a certain angle where you had a bit of what's the word I'm looking for? A bit of wobble, or you could get to a camera you could get to a seated position, and you could kind of look side to side, not full 360, but it was some HD technology, something related to that, where you could have a bit of 3D depth in that situation. But that would be really cool. You mentioned that, it made me think of that just recently in AC Milan, I believe.
Friendly,
they had the action cam, that little beautiful. They had a little chest GoPro or something on the ref or one of the players, and that was a really neat camera angle as well, which would be cool.
I saw a clip of that today. Yeah, funny enough, it was on Twitter.
Giroud, Yeah.
all for that. Adding, I think, dynamic. Like, it's interesting because I'm not a huge NFL fan or anything, but I know that they've been doing a lot of stuff to get kids. Not saying at all this is a comparison, but I'm just saying to get kids interested in the sport. They have like even just graphics or bringing the game to life. And I think, you know, watching a football match with being able to just experience it from like a completely not a fully virtual, but just experience it even closer to the field, like you said, sideline. Like a sideline view would be amazing to see what the coaches see. Being able to get kicked around, like you said, ball POV would be kind of cool. So I think
the other thing would be they have the cameras at the stadiums that are like on the wire above the pitch, so they could easily kind of do it through that somehow as well, where you have the ability to look around or certain points around the stadium or whatever. But like, I must admit, what I need to do realistically is like Oculus has like I forget what it's called, but you can go to like specific events. So if I remember one night to check it out, you can go to like a cinema basically, and you can go to this event, and if it's a VR event, they do it at some NBA games. I should really check one out, just to see what it's like, because some of these VR experiences, they're really amazing if you haven't checked them out. Like, I know it's not for everybody, but like I've really been enjoying it, and I just think for football it would be so cool to get us more on the pitch. You know what I mean? Like, I'd like to see that.
I think NBC Sports, I don't know how, probably 2015 or something, they had online, right? If you had a cable subscription, you could just throw in your stuff online and you get to see all the Premier League matches that they would normally broadcast. They had a really nice tactical cam, which I really enjoyed watching. No commentary, just like almost a bird's eye view of the field, and you could kind of really nicely see the whole field. And, you know, as a football player myself, I really enjoyed that camera angle because, you know, when you watch from a broadcast angle, you lose a bit of depth, right? Touches on the near side seem much more spacious. Touches on the far side are much more cramped, and you can't really I mean, you can understand what's going on, but you don't. Sometimes you might think a pass is easy. Like, why isn't this player seeing a pass here when you know it looks like it's such an easy pass? But you know, when you take depth into account, it's like, you know, a really tough pass or something. But I really like those camera angles. I think you know, growing up in America, those types of things are really important to the development of football here. To see proper, now it's probably much more easy to see it now with YouTube and all that stuff, but growing up, you know, it was like you couldn't see any football. The best you could get is maybe like some college ball nearby or something, which was you know, which wasn't highly European influence. At least where I grew up, there was a lot of Mexican influence as well. But yeah, interesting stuff. I think the VR idea is really cool. I wonder if you had to pay like a you know,
I'd pay it, man.
I would. I would. Yeah, I would.
Courtside NBA Finals type of thing. I'm sure they might.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
yeah, that'd be cool. All right, last little point. Culture had mentioned it earlier. He's unfortunately had to take off. The format of the game and structure of surrounding the game, like a lot of things like ESL, right? When the ESL topic came out, when we were talking about it on stream, my big question was, where do you see football in 50 years? You know, forget ESL. If it doesn't happen. What do you see the, you know, European landscape of football? Also, you know, Culture had mentioned, do you think there should be a 60-minute stop clock rather than 90-minute continuous running game clock? Things like this. Are there any modifications? I know you both kind of like the 90 minutes of, you know, uninterrupted. Is there anything you could see potentially happening? Like the 5-sub rule has just been introduced. Is there anything you can see potentially happening that would change the format of the rules? H2, do you have any thoughts about that?
Not necessarily the format of the rules. I can see more competitions being added all the time. I mean, we have the Conference League now, you know, that's being kind of the new hot topic. So I think there's just always going to be more ways for the footballing bodies to make money. And I think the key is balancing these players as human beings. Like, yes, they're athletes. Yes, they get paid millions of dollars or pounds or euros or whatever you want to call it. But they're still human beings at the end of the day. And, you know, there is a limit to how much the human body can go through. So my only fear is that, you know, there's going to be even that, and this, I don't want to deviate too far, but even the World Cup in the World Cup coming up is a big sore point for me. I'm excited because it's the World Cup, but it doesn't feel right because I'm used to Summer World Cup, you know. So I think that the only thing I can see happening is basically just more fixtures and more competitions and more money. That's about it. And I don't know how I fully feel about that.
For sure, yeah. Milo, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the big one for me, I like the implementation of the 5 sub rule, and I think I mentioned it to you guys on the show a few weeks ago. Is my only thing is that it's a missed opportunity. If they'd have made it, I know you agree with, or you like the idea of this plan, is it should have been that the extra 2 subs have to be from your youth team or from your youth academy, because I feel like it would be a great way to make sure that youth is getting a chance at first team level. You don't have to use them. You could use your 3 subs if it's a massive game and there's a lot on the line. But if you're cruising 3-0, you've made 3 subs, there's 10 minutes to go, you bring on a couple of youngsters and give them a run out, Like, I just think it's a missed opportunity, and maybe it will come, but I don't know.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal recommendation, by the way. That is, 100% agreed.
Yeah.
Somebody send that in to the FA, but give me credit.
Sponsor Milo.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any with so much? I mean, Barcelona being the highlight recently, right? So much highlight on finances and who can afford to sign players and sell players, things like this. Is there? Because financial fair play, they're still tweaking it to make it more and more difficult to kind of loophole around. Is there any semblance of, I know the European people are going to hate this sound, but salary cap or some sort of structure where football clubs cannot be like heavily invested, like the owner can't just spill a bunch of cash and change everything about a club, where there has to be some sort of merit-based growth or some sort of, I mean, talking about structure of clubs, I shouldn't claim to know everything about it, but reading about Barcelona and stuff like that, La Liga has their own rules, the FA has their own rules, fit and proper, whatever, and then UEFA has their FFP rules. Is there anything you could think that could be optimized or improved on from that standpoint? Milo, any thoughts about that?
I'm going to shock you here. I think I told you before, I've tried to find it, but I cannot, and I'll do some more digging. But I wrote an article for a friend's website a long time ago, and it was not long after Chelsea's sudden financial windfall. Let's just call it a windfall. Because at the time it was. They were a fairly average team, just catapulted into the limelight. So, sorry, Wally, but it's true. And sorry, H2. I forgot you're a Chelsea fan as well.
You conveniently forgot. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. So, no, I'm going to use that as an example. And I wrote an article around that time where it just didn't sit right with any fan, not just Arsenal fans, any fan in the league. Everyone was like, is this really going to be what's going to happen now? Like, who's going to be next? And we knew there would be a next. Because if one team has done that, taken those billions and invested 250 million in that first window or whatever it was unheard of at the time. We've been over that. I don't want to dwell on that. But at the same time, like, I wrote this article talking about maybe a salary cap is the only way to curtail that. And it never came. So I was somewhat of not an advocate for it, but I definitely considered it and thought, because I watched NHL as well, right? So I already was familiar with salary cap and things like that. And I just, I really feel like if you want to even it out so that one of 10 to 20 teams can theoretically win the league, it's the only way you could do it. It's the only way you could do it from this point forward. If you wanted to do that. If you don't, then you go the other model, which is where we're at now, and it's kind of a lottery. Will Newcastle be catapulted forward? Potentially. It's not going to happen right now. I mean, they're not making any massive moves. I just don't know. It's but yeah, I'm not as against the salary cap as you might think, because it could even it out. I am against the European Super League. I think a newer version of the UEFA Champions League is more than sufficient, and I don't want it to take teams away from their domestic. I do not want to make the Premier League any less prestigious than it is, because and the same, if I was Spanish, I'd feel that way about La Liga, and I'm sure I would, because I love domestic football.
Absolutely. H2, your thoughts?
Absolutely. Of course, being a Chelsea fan, like I've heard it for eternity, and it makes complete sense. I mean, there's no denying what the previous owner did for the club. There's no denying that it was out of nowhere. And exactly the thing is, like, what are we setting a precedent for? I think there needs to be some sort of transparency. I think there needs to be some sort of structure. Like, even a cap would. I've never really thought about a salary cap or a kind of a budget cap, but there needs to be some sort of consistency. It just seems like financial fair play doesn't exist, and I think we know that they call it financial fair play, but does it truly exist? I'm gonna go with no. And right. Something like handing over, this isn't purely financial, but player power and stuff, like handing over the keys to the club, like Mbappe has at PSG, and the amounts of money that we're seeing being thrown around. It's just like, where does it end? And like Milo said, it's such a lottery. Like, Palermo just got taken over by, I think, the same investment group as Manchester City, and it's like, are they going to be the next team now in Italy that blows up like that? So I think some sort of rigidity, some sort of structure, some sort of clarity is very much needed on a global scale, I would say.
Absolutely. Yeah, great points. Great points. Yeah, there's got to be somewhere where it ends, because, I mean, outside, we can go into the open panel. Guys, if you have any questions you guys want us to talk about, we can talk about it for about maybe 10-ish minutes before we get into the trivia of the night. But similar to the money in the game, Live Golf, I mean, it's a golf thing. It's not football, soccer related, but they're just throwing tons of cash into the game, and it's throwing off the whole merit-based earning potential of golfing. The structure, they're trying to kind of pump up the fans and make it a little more marketable, which I understand, but they're kind of they're like you were saying, like when you said if you want 10 to 15 teams challenging for the title, the only way to do it is salary cap. You're going to be taking a lot of legacies, and just I don't think Manchester United's going to like that. I don't think Real Madrid's going to like that. I don't think Barcelona's going to like the idea of everything they've worked for. Their whole history is just going to be kind of thrown out because of this, which is you never know how this could impact things. It would be a tough pill to swallow for the big clubs to be humbled like that. But yeah, I think you guys made some great points regarding all that. Cash brought up in chat regarding rules in U12s. The FA has just implemented no more heading. They're going to limit the amount of heading, which is interesting. Brain damage and things like that.
Concussions.
I know here in America, right, in the NFL, they made a bunch of changes to the head-to-head contact rules and things like that, from players getting concussions and stuff like that. I had a good friend who had to stop playing because he was one concussion away from permanent brain damage and stuff like that in high school. So you wonder if these changes are to help keep the game. You wonder why. Obviously, it's a health and safety issue, but you hear a lot of rule changes and things like that being spoken about to help grow the game, right? Van Basten, famous for his kind of extreme stances on, offside rule, throw-ins, hockey subs, things like that, to try to keep the game flowing and keep it exciting. I wonder do you feel, I mean, I'm not super in touch with youth football now as much as I was when I was in it. Do you feel that there's a problem? I mean, as much as you can tell, is there a problem with the growth of the game? Because that's what the ESL, that was one of their talking points, is the game is not attractive to 12-year-olds anymore like it used to be, because they need that fast action type of thing. Obviously, from our perspective, maybe we're a little disconnected from that. I don't know, but any comments on that aspect of things? I'm just kind of freestyling topics here.
I mean, for me, I as I did some coaching with youth soccer this summer, right? So, I got to be honest. I think while I see it could be a reason. I do think if your parents encourage you to exercise and get outside and maybe explain the merits and joys of team sports and the friendships you can develop that last forever. I'm friends with people now that I played football with when I was 6 years old. And it was all there was to do for me. So it's a little different. There's a lot more stuff available to kids today. I think that's one of the reasons. The world's a lot smaller than it ever was before. I think that's one of the reasons. I think there's a lot of factors that come in to that youth football equation. And when you find, there's so many things they can try now. Maybe if they're really good at one thing or a little bit better at one thing other than football, they'll go do it. Whereas when I was a kid, it was football. Just get better at football. There was nothing else for me to worry about. I played tennis in the summer a little bit more, and then we ended up playing football tennis by the end of the day. So it was, you know what I mean? Like it was always football related. And I just think now that everything else is out there available, and you can see that with the kids, like they're involved in so many activities. My eldest daughter does like 5 different activities, and I just want to be like, just pick one. But that's my childhood talking. Right. So why not let her do that and as realistically have some fun with it? But maybe that's going to lead to less people. And the heading thing, we don't have that here as far as I'm. Nobody told me if we do, by the way, because I was trying to get them to head the ball. But I don't think that's a bad thing. If there's an age that experts feel scientifically that your brain can handle that impact from a ball, then so be it. I don't think it's a bad thing to try at grassroots level. Will we suffer with a lack of headed ability in the future? I guess we'll find out.
We'll see.
I would say for me, so I have a 5-year-old son who I've enrolled in soccer for the last 2 or 3 months here in Canada. And I'm seeing it with him too. He halfway through the session just says, "This is boring. When are we gonna play?" Like he just wants to move on to the next thing and like win because they're focusing on teamwork, making sure they do the basics. By the way, they make him actually have the ball, so it hasn't reached here. They're making 5-year-olds have the ball, but I can see it in him, and it's this generation. I think it's that instant gratification. It's that just wanting results right away and asking constantly. He's asking, what's next? When are we going to play that? When are we going to do that? And it's like, just live in the moment, just be here and be present. So I think it's a generational thing. I think it's an environmental thing. I think it's just the nature of the world that we're in. And I like how you said the world is a lot smaller now, Milo, because I couldn't agree more. Like it's just everything's available to everyone, and there's no like purity in just going through a sport and being present. It's always what's next. So mixed feelings on that. We'll see how it turns out for him.
Maybe that's the idea behind ESL. They don't want to see Mbappe versus Dan Burns,
Literally.
They want to see Mbappe versus VVD, week in, week out type of thing. That's next. All right, let's move on to our first game of the day. We have how many teams can you name? HMTCYN. How many teams can you name?
Right.
I don't think H2, you've played this game before. Basically, I'm going to give you a player who I'll reveal right now. The player is Nicholas Anelka. Nicholas Anelka. How many teams can you name that he has played for? It'll kind of be a betting structure. So Milo might say 1, then you could say, I could say 3, and then Milo will say 4, and then you'll say, I can't name more than 4. Go ahead, 4 is on you. And if he can't name those 4, then you win the grand prize of 1 million points.
Okay, sounds good. Can I type it on my notepad?
Dollars.
Yeah.
Dollars.
Write down
dollars.
Dollars. eFootball coins.
In Canada, we take Monopoly money, so
okay.
I'm okay with
cool.
that. Okay, so
so while you guys are thinking about that, I'll just let everyone know in chat and anyone watching on YouTube, check the description below. Please follow Milo and H2 Official on Twitter and Twitch, respectively. Please support them as we grow this footballing community on the North America. So make sure you do that. Also, for the next section, we're going to have an interactive quiz. So on your screen, there is a Quizlet application you need to activate. And actually, H2 as well. If you have the stream open, you might want to get that going as well. But that'll be for the next section. So we'll be doing this. We'll be doing a quiz on screen, and everyone's involved. It'll be fun, and the winner gets to put a slideshow on my stream. Anyway, for the next week. There we go. Alrighty. Well, on to Nicholas Anelka. Do we have a wager? H2, how many teams can you name?
How many teams can I name?
Yeah, how
Or
much
can,
you want to wager?
Okay. I'm gonna say 4.
Okay,
I'll
4.
go easy, I think.
Do we hear 5?
I will go 7.
Oh, going big quick.
I believe it too.
Wow. Can you go 8? Let me see how many there are here. Let me see. Okay, and let me rephrase. This is only senior career and not teams managed.
Okay.
Sorry, I forgot to mention that.
Because I wouldn't have got any of the manager
I would,
roles.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, he managed some small, like 1 or 2 teams, and his youth teams as well. Let me see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 total. So you've gone with, was it 7, Milo?
I'll go 7. I've got a couple of spares if I need them.
H2, can you beat 7?
I don't think I can, my friend. I really don't.
Alrighty, Milo, you're up.
Okay.
We got 7.
Arsenal.
Arsenal, correct. Correct.
Real Madrid.
Ooh, that's loud. Real Madrid, correct.
Chelsea.
Chelsea, also correct. He missed a famous penalty against Manchester United.
Thanks for the reminder.
Manchester City.
Manchester City. Oh, I don't see. Oh yeah, it is there. It's there. It was just shortened. Sorry. Correct.
He did play for Man City,
Yeah,
right?
He did.
That was one of
me,
my
man.
Yeah,
It was shortened. It was shortened. There we go.
I'm sure he was in a City shirt.
Sorry.
Bolton Wanderers.
Bolton Wanderers is correct as well. You have 5.
Okay.
We need 2 more.
Liverpool. On
Liverpool.
loan.
He did go on loan for a very short time. Nice one.
I need one more.
One more.
Which one of my... I've got 4 written down, and I only...
There's 6
He played-
options. Don't look at chat. Don't look at chat. Don't look at chat.
I'm not looking at chat.
Someone's cheating.
He played for Shanghai, the same team that we talked about last week.
Shanghai Shenhua, correct.
Wow.
Yes. And
There you go.
do you want- can I tell you the other ones I guessed?
Go for it. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
guessed, but the other ones I've got are PSG.
Correct.
I couldn't
correct.
remember. I had West Brom question mark because I thought he
That's-
played there weirdly.
He did.
Yeah, it did.
He went all over the Premier League. Like it's
did.
pretty crazy actually. And then Fenerbahce was my possible 10th one.
Fenerbahce is also correct.
I could have done 10.
You could have done
Could
10.
have had it. There's also. Let me see. Did Diogo get the
Who
final
else?
ones? Monaco. That might be youth
Monaco.
career.
Monaco.
Juventus is correct.
Juve.
And the final team he played for, which he also managed for a short bit, is Mumbai FC.
Oh yeah, in the Indian Premier League.
And the Indian.
Or
yeah.
Super League.
Super League. Yeah.
Love the Anelka
What year
picture,
did he
by the way.
play for Juve there?
He played. What do I have
2013.
here? Loan. Yeah, loan move.
I would never have got that one. Or Mumbai, for sure. Fenerbahce, yeah.
Here we go. We have. All right, now the
We-
quiz is
we won.
being booted up. Anelka, nice player though, right?
Yeah.
It's a good, decent player.
Yeah. Famously, Arsenal bought him for $500,000 and sold him for 23 million.
It's a Wenger business, huh?
That was unheard of at the time. Yeah, it was quite the move.
No, Diogo, you didn't cheat. It was just you shouldn't type it in chat while he's thinking. That's all. You're good. I believe you.
I
believe
covered
you knew.
chat over for this game. So
Nice. Thank you. Honorable. All right, guys.
put it
Is the
behind us.
on-screen thing there for you guys? Do you guys see it? Is it popping up?
The July 18th wrap-up quiz thing.
The wrap-up quiz thing. Yeah.
Yep.
I think it says "You light it, we smoke it." That's the tagline for it.
It is indeed.
I don't know.
I'm gonna make it bigger. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So everyone in chat, if you're on mobile, just go. If you look above chat, there's a little Quizlet thing. You click on that and you activate it. We're gonna have 8 questions. Winner gets to put a slideshow of anything they want, 3 pictures, whatever they want on the stream. You know, H2, if you win it, you can throw your Twitch channel on there. I don't mind. Anything goes. Obviously, TOS, whatever.
Yeah.
But Bottle Job, who won it last week, that was his second time winning. So now he has a 6-image slideshow, which is pretty impressive. But yeah, you'll have 20 minutes to answer these questions. I believe they're all
20
transfer
minutes.
related. 20
20
seconds. 20 seconds. And we will get right into it. I hope everyone's ready. Hopefully you guys are ready.
Hopefully no ads. Ads tend to
yeah, hopefully no ads.
right about when you're doing this.
Did an ad play already, guys? Let's see.
I'm good now.
So Diogo, you got to click. There's a little widget on your screen. You need to click on it. Quiz
So
kit.
yeah, there's kind of near Milo. If you're looking on PC, I think it's near Milo. If you kind of hover your mouse over near Milo, you'll see a little logo pop up, the Quiz Kit logo, and you'll be able to activate it.
Do I
If you're
just?
on a phone, it's sorry to cut you off there.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Go ahead.
I think if you're on a phone, it's somewhere near the chat, right? The top of the chat or something.
If you're on mobile, it's above chat, I believe. That's at least last time I checked.
So I'm just gonna ask a rookie question on the PC. Once I click it, I've given it access, and then I just wait, right, for the game to start, basically.
Yeah,
Yep.
you should see
Okay.
some instructions on the screen right now, I believe, right?
Yeah.
You want to
Should I run
add
it?
it to add it to your channel. There's a way to make sure your name comes up.
Oh yeah,
I said manage access and give it permission to do that or something.
Okay.
Like that.
Okay,
You
yeah.
should be good then.
Okay.
Then okay, let's get it started now. Let's see how this goes. All right, first question. First question of the night. Which footballer was given the nickname The Body because of his toned physique? Was it Cristiano Ronaldo, Scott McTominay, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, or Robert Lewandowski? His teammate gave him this nickname. And by the way, if you don't answer, that's okay. Because if you answer incorrectly, you get negative points. Sorry, should have mentioned that. Anyways. Do you guys have any idea who it is?
I think it was CR7, but I'm not sure.
I said Cristiano as well, but I'm not sure.
Okay. So it was Robert Lewandowski.
I had a feeling. man.
Really?
Those Bayern guys.
Ilkay
Goretzka too.
Gundogan. Ilkay Gundogan
okay,
gave
so-
him that nickname, actually.
Back at
Damn it, I'm off to a rough start.
He started off super skinny, and by the end of his time at Dortmund, he became like ripped and stuff, you know. Best striker. All right, here we go. Next question. Is Manchester United's latest signing, Lisandro Martinez, began his professional career at which Argentine club? Independiente, Boca Juniors, Newell's Old Boys, or River Plate? Where did Martinez start his career? So now we're seeing a theme, guys. It's all about latest transfers, right? I couldn't say it after that first one because then, you know, Lewandowski would. Anyway. Where did Lisandro Martinez? There was a Lisandro that played for Porto, right? Striker? Lisandro something?
I think so.
Yeah.
The answer is Newell's Old Boys. Very nice. 4 out of 6 got that one right. Nice. Nice.
I'm like him at the casino now. I'm chasing now, you know? I'm chasing my points.
You peaked early with the 50 Anelka clubs.
Lisandro
Yeah, I know.
Lopez. That's right. That's who it was. All right, next question, number 3. We have... On December 8th, 1994, Raheem Sterling was born in which city? St. Anne, Jamaica, Manchester, Jamaica, Portmore, Jamaica, or Kingston, Jamaica? I could have put Jamaica in the question. I was thinking about throwing Manchester, England in there, you know, or Liverpool. But Raheem Sterling, new Chelsea signing.
It's the lowest minus total that wins, right?
You're miles ahead.
The correct answer is Kingston, Jamaica. Wow, everyone getting that one right. Well done,
Good, I
guys.
made
Well
some
done.
back.
You know, it just comes down to fastest fingers at that point. Who gets the most points, right? The quicker you answer, the more points you get, by the way. Sorry, I should mention that. All right, here we
He
go.
says
Next,
4 questions in.
4 questions. There we go. Next question. How old was Arsenal signing Gabriel Jesus when he made his first senior debut for Brazil? Was he 18, 19, 21, or hasn't been capped because he's not good enough? You know, he's just not good enough.
Had to get that one in there, did you?
Made it a little easier. You know. He's 97 born, by the way.
Crazy.
Yeah. You guys have an idea what the answer is?
I said 19, but I could be wrong.
19. Milo?
I said 19.
Oh, you're both correct. 19 was the
Boom.
correct answer.
Let's go.
All right.
All right, all right. Should we take a look at the scores real quick? Let's take a look at the scores real quick. We're halfway through. Let's see what the scores are looking like. Oh, Milo's in the lead. Contestant
comeback.
20. Oh, no, that was the question score. Sorry.
I was going to say, I'm definitely not. H2's in the lead.
H2's in the lead. Let's go. Contestant 20. You need to activate your name, but all good. Stefan, NL, Milo, LFC, whoever, Greg, and Cash bring in the rear. Oh, Diogo bring in the rear. Sorry, I didn't scroll. All right, here we go. Next question. Number 5. After only 14 appearances for Peñarol in Uruguay, which European club did Darwin Núñez sign for from Peñarol? Eibar, Vitoria, Almeria, or Las Palmas? Darwin Núñez, latest Liverpool signing. After 14 appearances, I think it was 14 appearances, 4 goals, he signed for which Iberian club? Bottle, the leader's only, I think, has, what, 38 points? That's only 2 questions. All right, let's see. The correct answer is Almeria is the correct answer.
Yes.
This was split decisions here. This might have changed the leaderboard.
I think it did.
It did? Okay. Let's see. We can take a look at the... We'll do one more question. We'll take a look at the leaderboard. Here we go. Next question is... In the 1920 season, Erling Haaland became the first teenager to score in how many consecutive Champions League matches? How many consecutive Champions League matches? 4, 5, 6, or 7? Became the first teenager to score in how many consecutive Champions League matches? I believe he was at Salzburg at the time. He also scored the youngest to get to 50 goals in the Champions League, I believe. How many consecutive Champions League matches did he get to?
I think I bottled it.
Uh-oh. The correct answer is 5.
I bottled it.
A lot of people bottled it. Almost everyone bottled it. This is a controversial question. All right, here we go.
That was a
Let's
good
look at the
question.
scores. Let's look at the scores. We have Stefan with 27. Milo second. Ooh, H2 taking a hit. Down
Bottled
to third. Bottle Jobs back in the running. All right, here we go.
Always.
Here we go. Next question. I think we have 2 more questions left. Next question is, which Premier League club turned the biggest transfer profit from a transfer? Meaning they bought him, sold him, biggest profit. Was it Tottenham? Ever. Tottenham, Liverpool, Leicester, or Chelsea? Not quite enough time for this one. Sorry, guys. I didn't really think about this. That was a bit of a tough one. I was debating putting names. I probably should have put names of the players. So the Tottenham signing, or the Tottenham player would have been Gareth Bale. Liverpool player Philippe Coutinho. Leicester, Harry Maguire. And Chelsea was Eden Hazard. So these are all top transfer profits. The correct answer is Liverpool with Philippe Coutinho.
Ooh.
They turned the most profit. They sold him for like 120 something. They bought him for 12 or something.
Nice.
Something like that. 17 maybe. But yeah, it was Liverpool.
I fell for Leicester.
Yeah, Maguire was a big turnover, and Bale as well, and Hazard. Hazard, I believe they bought him for almost 30. All right, there we go.
Yeah.
And the final question. Oh, should we look at this? Let's let the suspense go. Here we go. Next question is: due to extremely high temperatures, when was the first water break introduced to men's international football? Men's international football. When was the water break introduced? 2012, 14, 16, or 18? It was probably hot when I wrote this question. Due to extremely high temperatures.
You know, I thought that was in 1994 in USA 94 they had water breaks, because I remember Ireland taking one. But that's interesting.
It is, you know, I think before that it was the referee's discretion.
Okay.
But now they made it official. I think when it's over 32 degrees Celsius or 35 degrees Celsius. There's some ruling now that it's mandatory. So they were allowed to, the referee on field was allowed to do it at his discretion before, is my understanding.
Yeah.
But the first one was USA versus Portugal, 2014 World Cup. And 4 people got that one right.
I played it so safe the last 2 rounds. I don't know.
All right, let's see what the standings show. Who gets the slideshow on the stream for the next week or till the next show? Who is the winner? Stefan barely edges out Milo. Just
what a
barely.
comeback, Milo.
Oh, I was so wanting my slideshow. I haven't made it yet, but I was going to enjoy making it.
That's Stefan's second win. He'll be adding to his Barcelona Messi, folder in my computer. Anyways.
Well done, Stefan.
Well done, Stefan.
Well done.
And thank you everyone for playing. That was a decent quiz. I think.
That was fun.
That was a good one. Sometimes the quizzes are like extremely hard. So I think that one was kind of hard actually. Only 2 people in positives there. Anyways. Passy, yeah, exactly. All right, on the home stretch here for the show, guys. Let's hear our weekly check-in, our best of the week. Milo, what's your highlight of the week you wanna share with everybody?
My highlight of the week, I don't know. You know what it is? It's my new ridiculous formation on eFootball.
Oh, that's a great formation.
I tried it out last night, randomly started the stream with it, and then just went to town. And so far it has 9 wins and 3 losses. 6 win streak in there as well. So you're not bad.
Nice. Any highlight of the week you want to tell us about, H2?
Yeah, I think personally I hit a pretty big milestone on the beginning of last week. It was 3 years sober for me actually. So
oh, nice, man.
Yeah. It's been crazy. Yeah, it's something obviously I talk about in my channel, and I'm always happy to talk about. The only reason I talk about it is just in case anyone struggles with any sort of addiction or anything like that. But yeah, 3 years sober was a huge personal milestone for me, and I love to have an open door policy with that. So yeah, I guess for me,
congrats, man.
Thank you, I really appreciate that. But yeah, time flies. But yeah, that was a huge personal thing for me this past week.
I didn't know that about you. I have a similar streak going as well. I'm probably
Nice.
maybe around 3 years as well.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful.
My highlight of the week has been I rearranged my room, which is fun.
Mhm.
It's always nice to get a kind of a small change of scenery, find new things, lose new things. I lost 3 bananas somewhere in my house. So somewhere in my house there are 3 bananas that are not accounted for, and they weren't quite ripe either. So like you can add extra time to the ticking time bomb. When they're gonna start smelling.
They'll be accounted for soon with the smell, yeah.
Exactly. And today I thought I got a whiff of them, and I stopped everything, and I started pacing around my house, smelling everything, but couldn't find them. But I'm hoping they fell into the trash can.
Yeah, my question is, where did they go? Were they in your pocket on your way back to your setup? Like, what happened here? Like,
I have a table over there, and it is full of boxes and old egg cartons. Organized egg cartons. Okay, it's not just random stuff. There's just a lot of stuff over there, and I was, when you rearrange things, you have to move things into negative space and then move them back to the living space, and I think they have been shifted somehow. But overall, it's been fun, cleaning everything, kind of getting a deep clean in the room as well, in the stream room.
We're gonna see you slip on a banana skin live on stream.
I know, right?
Like in Mario Kart.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. How do you feel in the new setup, Cart?
I like it. It's a little more open. A little more open. It's nice. I have, it made a bigger hall space from one room to the other instead of kind of going around it. But Yeah,
Cool.
it's kind of made things nice. But yeah, do we have a quote of the week? H2, you got a quote of the week for us? Anything?
I'm so bad at quotes.
Or anything? I mean, it could be a
Under deliver, under promise. Under promise, under deliver. There you go. I got it wrong. I got my quote wrong too. So.
Is that? Did you get that from Arsenal's website, or where did
Oh,
you
my
get
days.
that? No, I'm kidding. Milo,
Yeah,
Do
I've got
we-
dad joke of the week.
dad joke of the
I love
week.
dad jokes. Let's
Okay.
go.
Dad joke
do
of the week. What do the movies Titanic and The Sixth Sense have in common?
It's a
I
great
see
premise.
dead people.
Oh man.
Yes, that might be the best one. Yeah.
What a premise.
So
think
proud.
That's
10
funny.
out of 10.
That's funny.
It's
Well,
great.
great show. We got a little extra time. I don't know if anyone wants to. Let's shout out ourselves. H2, thank you so much for being on the show. Is H2 the proper way to address you, or is there?
It is, yeah. So this is a debate
Okay.
I've been having. So I started this whole thing, like, it's crazy how fast. I'm very fortunate that our community has grown so fast. But I started like 2.5 months ago.
Yeah. Nice.
And so my first and last name, my name is Hamza, in case anyone's wondering. So that's my real
Okay.
name. So my first and last initial are HH. So I just went with H2. But H2 by itself looked so naked. So I just threw the word official in there, just doing it. And now it's
Okay.
like, that's exactly where I'm at. Everyone's like, do we call you official? Do we call you H2? So honestly, call me whatever you want at the end of the day. But I'm probably going to try to make it a little bit cleaner. But
Okay.
but yeah,
Nice, man.
I'm really enjoyed my time here. You guys are awesome. Milo, it was a pleasure, doing this with you and Cart, of course, for having me. It's
Absolutely.
been a
Yeah,
while.
good to meet you, man.
Absolutely. And I look forward to keeping up with your guys' stuff. It's been a while. Cart and I have been trying to get this going, and I've just had some life stuff, but
Yeah,
very
no
much.
worries.
You gotta plug your stream. What you got coming up?
Let's do it. Actually, this is the biggest biggest week for our channel. Tomorrow, actually, I'm starting my first ever PvP, like, competitive. So I stream Football Manager, in case you guys didn't know, Football Manager 2022, and I'm doing the Path to the Playoffs. FM Playoffs is like a big thing that they do. So I'm doing the qualifiers starting tomorrow. It's a draft at about 8 p.m. British Standard Time, and then Friday is the actual game. So first time I'm ever doing some sort of competitive Football Manager stuff. Really excited. But yeah, basically just a chill stream that we run over on my channel. And it's more about connecting with the community for me too. Like, the game is on and we do connect over the football, but love the human interaction aspect of it.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I mean,
Awesome.
I found your channel just from browsing Football Manager VODs, actually, and I was like, I was trying to figure out the timing of this show, and you usually stream around this time. I don't know if you're streaming tonight.
I probably will
if you're
jump on
playing
at
while
some
they-
point, but yeah, I stream pretty
Yeah.
late. I stream pretty late because I have like split custody of my son. So when I usually just play it safe and stream at the same time, which is after his bedtime, 9:30 p.m. my time every day. So we
Gotcha.
play it safe.
Nice.
What time zone are you in?
I'm in Mountain. That's a very good question. I'm saying 9:30 my time, as if everyone knows. So that's 9:30 Mountain time, which is 11:30 Eastern.
Okay,
That's when I
gotcha.
usually start. Yeah.
Nice,
yeah.
nice.
It's 8:30 Pacific. Where
There you
I'm in Vancouver, Canada. So I'm.
Oh,
I'm
I used to live in
Pacific.
Vancouver. I'm in Calgary, Alberta right now. That's
Oh,
where
nice.
I live. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, sweet. Well, we'll have to. Yeah, I'll message you on Discord.
For
anyway.
sure. But yeah, thank
Yeah.
you guys. Really, like, greatest show. It was awesome.
Yeah, no, it's great to have you on, man. I saw your VOD, and I knew immediately that you'd be great on the show, and
I appreciate it, man. I really do.
it's fun. It's fun to find more people as well, and hopefully we can have a nice community of guests coming on and off. The other guest that was going to be on tonight is a real big Football Manager content creator, Cultured Left Foot, and he's been creating Football Manager content for a while. And I was hoping to have both of you guys on at the same time. Would have been nice
Yeah.
for the Football Manager side of things. I noticed you're doing I think it's Dulwich United.
Dulwich Hamlet. Yeah.
Dulwich Hamlet. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. So 6 years I've managed them. We just finished our first season in the championship. We finished 15th. We were predicted dead last and finished 15th. We survived. So now we're gonna rebuild for our second season ever in the championship, which is year 7 of the save coming up. Yeah.
Nice. Very cool.
If you want to check out Cultured, I know he's not here, so he would mention it for sure. On YouTube, he'll be Cultured Left. He just finished his Derby County save, and several years deep. I won't spoil the ending though, but the save file is available at the end of the series, so he'll probably want to give that a shout out. Yeah, if people want to take over the team.
Absolutely.
Really good.
Yeah, and Milo, obviously we all know you from Milo1st at Twitch, twitch.tv at Milo1st. Anything coming up on the channel you want to shout out or anything?
Yeah, I think tomorrow night I should be doing Imola on F122 in VR. I've been doing my team playthrough. So that's been kind of fun. I should be doing that. I'm doing 100% race distance with 0 assists. So it's tough. It's a sweaty affair because the weather's hot, and in the VR headset it like cooks, but it's worth it because it looks really good. Later in the week, eFootball, we'll probably do part 12 of Red Dead 2 because we're getting near the end of that now. I like to have a single player game on the playthrough, and then next Sunday we'll be doing ACC in VR again. That'll be the league racing, and we are at Hungaroring next Sunday.
Very nice.
You can simulate the porpoising with the VR headset, by the way.
We did do that. We made a clip of that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, I think with that we can wrap up the show. Thank you guys so much for being on. You guys make the show what it is. Thank you, chat, for all your input as well. Hopefully we'll have a show lined up for you next week as well. Sometimes we have 3 to 4 guests on. We'll see how things go.
Season is coming.
The season's starting. Community Shield in about a week or so, or I think the Community Shield's in this weekend or something. Is that no? That can't be right. Something like that. Something's coming up quickly.
Sometime soon.
City's playing really quickly. That's what I know. They got a game coming up. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next time, and thank you for all the follows and everything. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us, Cart.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you, Cart. Appreciate it.
Chat. Have a great evening.
Bye, guys.
It's the Monday weekend wrap up. 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 It's the Monday weekend wrap up.